This is Ryan, and you're listening to the Silver Wolf Howl, where we'll be speaking to Angela, who is the CEO for Silver Wolf.
Things a little bit differently today in that Ryan and I are interviewing the boss. Angela is our CEO and founder of the company. Hello, Angela.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very glad, but very nervous to be here and to be in this position today. So please be gentle.
So, Angela, the very first question is probably a big bugbear in industry these days. You are a woman heading up a company in what has been considered a man's industry. Has that posed any particular challenges for you?
It has, yes. It's just a general stereotype. I don't like using that word, but it is that people generally expect a man to be running a private investigation business. So by default, there is always some kind of, negativity or looking for the man behind me kind of attitude. But for the most part, I am, or should I say, thankfully, I don't take that seriously or personally, and I just get on with it. But yes, it is definitely a reality, and you just kind of have to roll with it. There's unfortunately not much you can do about it, not much that I've been able to do about it.
I'm going to really throw it in the mix here and ask you whether it has added to the issues the fact that you're a woman of color.
To the issues, sometimes yes, it has. I do actually remember a couple of occasions where I was looked at like, okay, you should be more of the secretary or the receptionist, in this industry. What are you doing in that role? And some have kind of made comments to that effect as well. So yes, it has hindered it a bit, but I think overall, if I have to balance both sides, I don't think that the hindrance is significant enough to cause any major problems. It's more of an annoyance to me than it is something that affects me negatively. But to answer your question, it does exist, and it does obviously impact you, because for me, I like to just get on with the work. I like to get the job done, as you guys know. So if you are looking at something as simple as that, and letting that interfere with the process of the work or us getting to our goal, then that annoys me. So yeah, in that way, it's a bother. But as I said about being a woman, it's something you expect almost, so it doesn't come as a surprise. Although you hope that it will one day go away, but you just kind of roll with it, and you know, there are difficulties that everybody faces in all sorts of things, in all sorts of jobs, and that. So that's just one of the ones that I have to deal with, and I just go with it, not let it bother me.
So, Angela, if and when the need arises, are you prepared to go on the road to assist your team uh, with an investigation?
Yes, and I have done that quite a few times. Um, Look, I mean, it's part of being a leader, a boss. You have to do what you need to do sometimes. And because I am so very driven by giving excellent service and just being the best company that we can be, I will do what I need to do to deliver that service to our clients and make sure that everybody's happy, and also to provide that support for you guys if you need that. So going out in the field is not a problem. I just take off the boss hat, leave it in the office if I can. Sometimes I have to wear both, but if I can, and go out there and do what needs to be done. So yes, to answer your question, definitely I would.
What's it been like for you leading a team of men, especially us two, during investigations?
The woes, the woes.
Hold it.
The challenges. If we had video now, I could do a dramatic feint for you. But look, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have the two of you who don't see it like that. You know, that you are guys and being told what to do by a woman. So that helps. It contributes to that definitely, because I know that there are when we've worked with other people, you know, when we've had to include other people and they've been guys in that group. I mean, I recently had that experience where I needed to collaborate on one of our cases, and there were guys involved, and they didn't take too kindly to the fact that I was running the show and I was lead investigator, obviously, and telling them what to do. So there was a little bit of, you know, obstinance, difficulty there, and I had to stand my ground a little bit more. But the challenge comes in being able to stand your ground without then being labeled as a bitch at the end of the day. So you have to know how to balance the two. So you have to you know, take charge, do what you need to do. But then it can't be a situation where they feel like that and that they can have that excuse to call you that, or to feel that that's what you're being, you know, just being a witch and taking your broom and flying around and bossing us around. So it is something that needs to be balanced in that kind of environment as well. But leading the two of you makes it a lot easier. And the great thing is, because I work with you most of the time, so when I do encounter that with other men that I have to tell what to do, especially ones that have worked in this industry for a long time and feel like they know everything. And as you know as well, I have a different perspective on a lot of things, and I see things out of the box sometimes, or I try different tactics if I see a strategy isn't going that way, that they do feel like, oh, who are you now coming out of nowhere, and then you're still a woman telling me this, and I've been in this for so long. So that it becomes a challenge. But then thankfully I can say goodbye to them, and then I can come back again and then work with the two of you. So I can get recharged again. So I have two very, very decent men that I work with, and that never make me feel like that is an issue. So very grateful and very lucky for that.
Thank you for your kind words. And if I may make a comment on that, one of the things that we pride ourselves on in this company is that there is no racism that will be allowed or stood for, that there is no sexism that will be allowed or stood for. We are a company of 100% equality, and anybody that had to join this company and think otherwise, frankly, wouldn't make it very far. Am I correct in saying that?
No. They would not make it very far at all. I'm all about getting the job done, and if you are able to do it, and you are Martian and you have purple pimples, that's fine. Come join us, and we'll probably make fun of you, but it's fine, you know. In a loving way, of course. But no, it's at the end of the day, it's about the job. So whoever can do the job effectively, whatever you are, then that would be the case. But there would not be any discrimination or putting down of anybody because of anything silly as those kinds of topics.
So where do you want to see this company go in the next few years?
Oh, wow. We have limited time in this interview.
It's like a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, my imagination is very, very broad, And so to actually answer that question, yeah, you'd maybe want to send me for therapy or to a mental hospital or something afterwards. But to for the sake of this question right now, there are no limits to where I see this company growing. I've got so many ideas and so many things lined up, and I just want us all to prosper so much that I constantly think about it, and I constantly see how we can get there, and then try this and research that and that. So there isn't an actual answer to it. Um, but the actual answer that I can give you for now is that there is no limit. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I also don't like to have a particular goal and sit, in stone almost, because I feel that's limiting. Because right now I may feel that way, but in 2 years' time I would feel differently, and I see things going differently, or the company going differently. So then I would want to adjust my goal or what I want. But in general, the sky is the limit. That is really what I see for this company.
Angela, to touch on just the previous question about being the female CEO, do you intend employing any female investigators into the team in the future? And if so, how different will they be trained as per the males that you have now? Specifically, one-on-one training. When it happens, how will you implement that?
Okay, so to answer your first question, yes, I would hire female investigators if they are good enough. They have the drive, and the determination and the hunger for excellence like we do, and that would be for a male investigator as well. Those criteria would need to be met for that as well. So whether you're male or female wouldn't be a bother to me in whether I would hire you or not. If I do have a female investigator on board, to answer your next question, in terms of training and stuff like that, we would obviously train differently, but even although it would be slightly differently, it would just be different in the sense of what we could bring the best out of that person in. So it's not because that person is necessarily female that they would have to do things differently or train differently or whatever. But like for example, throwing somebody or moving in strength wise, you would have to, for a guy it would be different, and then for a woman it'd be different to be able to execute that move. So we would just have to adjust the training for that. Maybe the way you stand, or how the angle or whatever it may be. But again, it comes down to, it doesn't really matter whether it's a female or not, because you'd have to adjust that for a smallish male as well. I mean, small in stature. So yeah, I think that is how I would adjust the training for that person, just so that they are as effective as they can possibly be. Um, yeah, that would be my way to go forward. But again, I would like to make that decision at the time and see who the person is, and also know their strengths and weaknesses, and kind of work it from there.
So, here's perhaps one of the bigger questions. What are the changes you'd like to see in the industry in South Africa going forward?
There are a few things. The main thing is the face of the industry. So, in my opinion, right now, it's very much okay. The obvious thing, a male thing, and so it comes across as a very testosterone boosted kind of appearance where, oh no, fine, I'll get this job done, in a very kind of macho way. And so it's created this face of private investigation that is is more, yeah, leaning towards machismo rather than the job itself, where not every investigation needs that. Some do need that. Maybe you do need to kind of flex your muscles a little bit in the sense of showing the person that you're serious, because as you know, some people don't take authority seriously or don't take their responsibility seriously, and that's why we're standing in front of them most of the time. So, you do need to maybe make your voice a little bit deep and say, look, I'm serious in this instance. But it's not something that you can just use a broad brush and just sweep everything with it. So the investigation world is so vast, and the different types of investigations that we do is so different. So you would need to be able to do different things to adjust to that investigation and to get the best result for your client. So that's the face that I would like to change, that it's a little bit more flexible. It's a little more, easier, than the face, of it, than just this macho dude with muscles going to kind of intimidate somebody or something like that. So that's the one thing that I would change. And I think in that way, me being a female makes it easier for me to change it because my perspective is different. I'm not testosterone driven in that, so I can see things differently. And we've got a successful business, so people can then see it differently as well, knowing that you don't have to have that ego or that macho air in order to run a successful business, number one, and also to run a successful investigation. So hopefully that is something that can change. And then also the other thing I would like to change is to change the perception of people of what private investigation is and what private investigators are. And that's part of this whole podcast thing as well, that I could bring it to people and they could hear from actual, professional private investigators that do this every day, that it's not like TV. It's not that edited 40-minute program that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and at the end of the day, everything is sorted and we're all walking off into the sunset. So that is also something that I would like to change. And then the fact that we exist, because a lot of people have said, wow, I always thought that it's only an American thing. I didn't know we have South African investigators. So that also kind of blends in with my point now just before this. So those points are things that I would like to see change in the industry. And then another thing that I just thought of is the training, that I would like to see the private investigators trained differently, or at least have some kind of proper training. There isn't really much going around now, so that is something that I would also like to see change.
You came from a very different background professionally. Tell us about that and what the changeover has been like for you.
Yes, completely different. Mostly artistic, because I studied graphic designing and web designing and development and coding and those kinds of things. And then I worked in the entertainment industry. Okay, no, Ryan, not that kind of entertainment.
Oh.
I could see the smoke coming out there. Like in TV and film and theater and stage presentations and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very much more artsy than what I'm doing now. But that has helped me in this sense, in that it helps me to think creatively. So and also to come at this thing with a different perspective in how can we solve the problem, how can we get to the vision I have in my mind. And so I think in a way it is kind of like painting or being an artist, in that you have this image in your mind, and now how do I use the brushes to get that, or what kind of paints do I use to make that happen and to create that effect that I want there. So that has helped me in this business. But yes, it is a totally different thing when I do think about it. For me, it's normal because it's my life and it just has happened, organically. But I suppose when you look at it from the outside perspective, it does look a bit strange going from an arty background to this. But yeah, it has its benefits, and it has added a lot of things to what I'm doing now as well. So I think it was all meant to be.
Talking about early on, you spoke about your strengths and uh, what you face with in the business, um, and being in the office. Uh, what when it comes to personal protection, can you look after yourself in the event of a confrontation, as opposed to the other duo, like Noel and I? Can you handle yourself?
Like if I'm out on the road and that kind of thing, doing an
Self
investigation.
defense,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Um, I would like to think so. I would like to think so. I mean, I do train and stuff, so you hope that you do perform at the time. So I'm gonna say yes to your question, and yes, not elaborate further. Just leave it at that.
I'm going to add a comment to that. And I'm going to kind of answer the question and say I would feel very sorry for anybody that tried it on with Angela.
Oh dear. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Oh my goodness, I don't know.
So you spoke about training a little earlier and how you would like to see training becoming available for South African private investigators. How do you intend to make a difference with that?
That's a difficult question to answer because I've got some ideas in the pipeline and I don't want to talk too much about them while they're still baking in the oven. But suffice it to say that I do have intentions of changing that and contributing to that, so that I can actually see something happening and see those private investigators that I would like to see in the industry also, be part of the industry. Not negating the others that are there now, but I just feel that there's an arm to it that is not there. And so, yes, I am working on ideas to contribute to that. And as those ideas develop and become more real, then I will discuss them as well. So, yeah, I will leave you in suspense for now.
Gee, thanks.
And kind of give you an half answer to that question.
Okay. So then skipping to something rather different. What are the differences between the way we as a company do things and how you've seen other investigation organizations do them? And I say organizations because I'm not just referring to companies, but even police forces and others.
I wouldn't really like to compare us in that sense. What I will say is what are our strengths, what we do well, and what I like us to, or how I like us to handle our investigations and our services to our clients. And that is, with one word, excellence all the time. So, whatever we need to do in order to achieve that, if we need to learn more, if we need to physically do something more, if we need to bring on other help or consult with other people or whatever it is, there is no limit to what is needed in order to achieve excellence. So, that is what makes us different. The fact that we are driven by that hunger for perfection and excellence. Perfection, I use it in a loose term because really what is perfection? So maybe I should stick with excellence rather. And also that we are driven by the fact that we want to, it's about the case. It's about solving the problem. It's about helping our clients and giving them the best, for whatever situation they're finding themselves in. So even although we have to charge, I think we've spoken about this before, we have to do it for money as well so that we could live. But our driving force is the delivery of results at the end of the day. and the hunger for that, and just for ourselves also, just to feel like, you've done that, and you've successfully achieved this and gotten this goal on this particular investigation. That is what makes us different. And then also who we are as people, because I've seen now you guys interact as well with our clients, and not only with the clients, but with the people that we're looking for, or witnesses along the way, or people that can help us along the way. And you treat them all with that level of respect and dignity, and with the idea always that everybody is a human being, never mind of what their station is in life. So that respect for another human being in general is also what makes us different. So I think my vision and your guys' execution and who you are and our team ethic is what makes Silver Wolf different, rather than me comparing to another organization.
You spoke about coming from an autistic background. What are some of the skills that you have brought forward from that to this job?
I would say the creativity bit, definitely. Um, the ability to be flexible and to change, because sometimes, I still do some arty things now, and sometimes you have an idea in your mind of what you want this artistic piece to look like at the end of the day. But when you start working with it, and particularly I work with glass, so glass can be a bit temperamental sometimes, and then you use this particular piece of glass for this particular part of this artwork, and it breaks, and you don't have something similar to replace it with. So now you have to think differently, and then oftentimes that whole piece just changes, and then it becomes something else, and then because you're forced to add this other piece with a different color or different texture, now you see something different in this piece, and then it completely just goes in another direction. And I think that ability as well has helped in this, because of the flexibility of investigation sometimes, where even although you've planned and you have an idea of where you're going, you step into it, and then you're confronted with something unexpected, and you have to throw out what you were thinking of doing before, replace it with something else, and then that changes the whole trajectory of that investigation again. And so those kinds of things don't affect me. They don't throw me off, and that because it's something that I've done for a long time, and it's just second nature to me. So I would say that those are probably the points that stick out in the top of my head on that. I'm sure there are others if I really sat and thought long and hard. And so that's why I feel like there was a reason why I had to go through that first before I ended up in private investigation, because there's obviously lots of those little things that I can now bring here that maybe others don't have.
On a more, not, don't call it personal note, are men in general intimidated by your business type? And hearing that you are the director, does this make you want to um, uh, maybe change the name of your role, or do males in general um, accept you with this type of responsibility, and knowing that you have men working under you?
Yes, it is. It is, especially if you're referring to relationships and things like that as well. It does. It definitely does. The first thing that it kind of, should I say, sparks in them is the thought that, oh, she's going to dominate me and, be bossy with me, and I'm going to have to be one of her employees, kind of thing. So yes, that does intimidate them in the sense of me being the director of this business, and then the director of a business like this, which is mostly a male-dominated industry. They feel like I'm going to be male-ish, and more more masculine in that sense. So there has been there's been lots of fleeing after I've mentioned, when people get to know you and they ask you, so what do you do? And on the occasions when I've mentioned that, then the conversation has kind of fizzled out and then faded away, and then you see rubber tracks from the speeding off afterwards.
They're
So
still smoking too, are they?
exactly, yeah. So it does make relationships or finding a partner and stuff like that a little bit challenging. But on the other hand, it also helps you to sort out, the riffraff from the decent ones, because somebody that is confident in their masculinity wouldn't be affected by that. So, and that's somebody that obviously you would like to be in any kind of relationship with. So yeah, and also if you feeling harassed by somebody or something like that, then you throw that card in, and then they get nervous, and then they will leave you alone. So so it has its pros and cons. Yes, it definitely has its pros and cons. To answer your question about have I thought of changing the role, I haven't. But what I have done is maybe not using that title at that point to describe what I do, and just easing into it. Sometimes I have done that, but to change my role in general to fit small-mindedness, no, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, spot on.
I would say this question is the general elephant in the room for private investigators anywhere. People see private investigators on TV, Magnum PI and all of these type of things, and they've asked me many times. They've said private investigators have to sometimes be prepared to break the law to succeed in cases like, break into a premises to get evidence inside and that kind of thing. What's your take on that?
There's never a reason for that, because if you are good enough, you will find another way to do that. If you have to resort, it's the same like somebody in an argument not being able to stand their ground, and then they're resorting to swearing or insults and stuff like that. That's just lowering yourself, and it's actually showing you up, So if you are a good enough private investigator worth his meat, you wouldn't need to be able to, or need to have to, go that route at all. So, we know sometimes we have faced that challenge where you get frustrated because you're not getting somewhere, and you feel like the only way to get the answer out of this person is to grab them by the throat and throttle them. And even although you have that in your mind sometimes and you feel that way, there's always something else that you can do. There's always something else. You can use your brain to figure something else out. So there's never ever a reason for you to break any laws in order to just achieve success in one investigation. And I don't think that it's worth a while anyway to do that. You can rather take your loss on that investigation and come back fighting again tomorrow. But to, in my opinion, lower yourself to do such things in order to achieve success, I don't see that it's actually worth the while long term for yourself personally, as a human being, as an investigator, as anybody in this industry as well. So no, I don't buy into that premise at all.
I have to add a comment to that, which is that when we present reports are evidence in our business, and when we present a report to a client, it has to be presentable as evidence in court, which means nothing can have been obtained in any sort of illegal way, because it can be challenged and thrown out. And that would just mess up our reputation, wouldn't it?
Definitely. And yeah, but that for me is a secondary reason, because that's almost like being caught out. So I wouldn't do the thing because I'm going to be caught out. That's not good enough. You shouldn't be doing that thing because you shouldn't be doing that thing, finished and cloud, whether you're going to be caught out or not. So yes, I do agree with that point, but I feel like that is more secondary than should be the primary goal in your mind when you are faced with that decision.
I agree. So the last question that I have for you is this: what would you say to a young girl, particularly a young girl from a previously disadvantaged community, who wants to get into this industry and do what we do?
I think the first thing I would say is the same that I would say to anybody wanting to get into this industry, is that you need to have that instinct for it. You need to have that drive for it, and you need to have that hunger for excellence and success in this industry. So that would be the first thing. And then if you are from a previously disadvantaged background, or in any way feeling disadvantaged or challenged, that drive and that wanting excellence will help you overcome that, and it will also help you have a thick skin, so that you don't let those comments because you're a girl, or because you look like you should be the secretary or something like that, get to you and demotivate you in any way. So if you have that innate drive to be excellent, and you have the passion for this industry, then I would say just go for it, irrespective of who you are or what gender or race or any of those kinds of things that you are. And that drive will help you overcome whatever disadvantages or challenges that you have to face further on. If it is a girl who's looking at this and thinking that I would like to do that, I would like to find out more, but I'm scared because it is male dominated or whatever, I would say no. Put on your big girl panties and go for it. It's worth it. If you have the passion for it, then it's worth it. Any career really, if you have the passion and the drive for it, then it's worth getting into, irrespective of what you are, what your background is, or who they think you are.
Angela, I want to say thank you very much for joining us. And Ryan, thank you for your additions to this.
Oh, thank you.
And just want to say it's been absolutely amazing hearing these insights from you. It's one thing working with you, but when you get to actually talk like this and put these things out on the table, it puts a little bit of a different light on things, and it's very interesting. So thank you very much for your insights, Angela, and for joining us today, and for submitting to our questions for once.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Thank you both. They were very good questions. It made me think right now, so that was nice. A good brain challenge for the day. And also, you guys are good interviewers. I feel very relaxed. And I think maybe I'm going to call you in to do some more interviews in the future. And then I can sit back with a pina colada and my feet up and chill and just make rude comments from the side,
Well, I have to make a snide comment and say you have to remember that we are professionals at interviewing witnesses.
Yeah. But this is different. So, yeah. But no, you did a good job, both of you. So, and thank you for having me on your podcast today.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you very much. And listeners, have a good day further.
Goodbye.